Hello, everybody, and thank you very much for joining me for another Alfred Hitchcock Presents review. Today I will be talking about Season 2, Episode 37, The Indestructible Mr. Weems, starring Robert Middleton as Cato, Joe Mantell as Harry, and Russell Collins as Mr. Weems. And this is a solid, entertaining episode overall. It's one of those episodes where there's parts of the plot you kind of just got to go with. There's some pretty convenient things that happen when the plot needs them to. And, I would have actually liked to see a little bit more of Mr. Weems in this episode, being that the episode's named after him, but that's more a personal preference than anything else. This episode was fast-paced and entertaining all the way through, and I enjoyed it. So, we start out with four Lodge brothers, and it turns out they've invested in a cemetery, but the problem is nobody's buying the plots. So, they come up with this idea. That they're going to go to this Mr. Weems, who used to be a Lodge member, but he hasn't been doing too well since his wife passed away and he lost his business. His days are probably numbered. So they come up with the idea that they're going to pay him like $50 a week until he passes away if he'll buy one of the plots, hoping that other people will follow. And I have to say, these guys aren't the smartest Alfred Hitchcock Presents characters, which is part of the fun of the episode. So they go to visit Weems at this point, and we are introduced to his daughter, who's engaged to one of the men, Harry, which is somewhat important to the plot. And they bring this proposal by Weems, who we meet for the first time. Weems knows the reason why, being a pretty smart guy. He says, you guys must not be getting a lot of sales. But eventually he agrees to this, and he also mentions at this point that it seems like a good deal, and it will also free up his daughter to get married to Harry, who honestly seems a little bit more concerned about getting married than he does about his Lodge brothers, but I guess that's understandable. And as soon as the men leave, it seems like Weems is feeling a whole lot better all of a sudden. So we go back to the Lodge, and one of the guys, Cato, he's the other Lodge member that's focused on the most, along with Harry. He's concerned because Weems seems to be doing better. He's reapplied to the Lodge. One of the other men sees him out walking, things like this. So the men are really concerned about this, but Harry still seems more concerned about marrying Weems' daughter, leading me at this point to think that, maybe Harry and Weems were in on some kind of plot, which I thought was kind of an interesting idea. So at this point, there's a Lodge gathering, and Weems is there with a date, which I thought was pretty humorous. So at this point, the men accuse Harry of plotting, which is kind of what I thought, but Harry says, I have proof. We'll go to see Weems' doctor. He said, Weems didn't have long to go. So the men visit the doctor, and the doctor says it's simply the fact that Weems had kind of given up hope, and now he has hope because he's getting money every week. So really, the men from the Lodge have given Weems a reason to live. So this gives Cato an idea at this point that he says we'll give Weems like a lump sum. I think it's like $500 if he'll destroy the contract. But when they go to visit Weems, it turns out that Cato collapses and he's a goner. It turns out he went up and down the steps too many times. And throughout the episode, they kind of showed him struggling on the steps. But I wasn't really sure if this was just to be funny, if there was a reason for it. And it actually was integrated into the plot, which I thought was kind of funny, even if it's kind of a plot contrivance that this happens. So Cato's a goner, and in a last twist, Weems has donated or given his plot to Cato. And Weems still seems to be doing pretty good, so I guess all things went well for him, but not as well for Cato. So, like I said, The Indestructible Mr. Weems, is a pretty entertaining episode. The scenes with Mr. Weems are really good, but there aren't really that many of them. The episode focuses a lot on the Lodge brothers. Maybe you would have needed a longer episode to focus on Weems more, but the episode works and is entertaining as it is. And I'm going to give The Indestructible Mr. Weems a 3 out of 5. Like I said, just an entertaining episode that I think fans of the show will enjoy. So a 3 out of 5 for The Indestructible Mr. Weems. And as always, thank you very much for watching.